All right.
It works.
It's all working.
It's official. We're live.
Yeah,
It can't
welcome
be-
everyone to the first annual Clueless Capybaras podcast, featuring myself, obviously, Papa Bear, and then everyone else. You guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yeah, I'm Ricky Paramore. Yes. That's by the name.
Yes, excellent. I'm Cyanide Jackal.
Echo?
I'm Accidentsquid.
I'm cyanidetotes, as you can
Probably read.
I am at full mast.
How's everyone doing?
just getting there now.
Always, dude. Oh, another day in paradise. Just getting all this shit up and running.
Oh yeah, ran into some technical difficulties right at the start. It's always a good time.
Yeah, been up since 7 a.m. And we just now getting it going.
Ricky's been putting in work.
It's just like my sex life. 8 hours of work and no good result.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Excellent.
Well,
It's good to see everybody's faces.
yeah, right. It's nice to actually have you back on the webcam too after your extended hiatus that's been going on.
That is true. It is nice to be back and be seen, if you will.
He's been in hiding.
I've been resting for my transformation.
He's been bearing child. He didn't want to be
Yes.
on cam.
I'm giving birth, if you will. Metamorphosis.
The food
Going
babies are
through
getting
AA.
out of hand this time of year.
I've got to actually go through rehab for Alcoholics Anonymous. This is my last blowout before then.
Let's make it a podcast.
Let's make it fucking sick. It's good. It's good. It's not a big deal. My life's terrible. Anyway.
Oh my god.
So
But yeah.
we've got a couple of things that we're going to start discussing here, and first thing I actually had on the list was the new Star Wars movie.
Ooh.
Has everyone here seen it? I'm assuming, except Jackal, because you don't like movie theaters.
Correct.
Or movies in general.
I love movies. Just because I don't have the same opinion, okay? I can't help that I'm a judgmental asshole. That's how I was born.
Well, that's why we've gathered the judgmental assholes that we all are.
Yep.
We're the council of judgmental assholes.
That would have been the fucking good name.
That's
That
it.
would- wow.
You really don't know much about capybaras then, do you? It's a bunch of fat rats who hate everybody.
We got that
Why do
fat.
you think you don't see them?
Got that big fat energy.
So, for those of you that have seen the new Star Wars, what do you guys think?
I personally, I felt like it did a lot right, but it was recovering from a polarizing opinion piece on The Last Jedi. Like it had to make up for what a lot of the audience didn't like about that movie. And because it had to do that, it spent so much time breaking things that were set up from the previous movie
Yeah.
that it didn't have enough time to shine. Whereas if the second movie had the vision of the third movie, we would have had way more to go off of, right? I don't want to spoil anything because we have people in here who haven't seen it, but like there's certain things that they needed to have set up in the second episode in order for it to have had the payoff that they wanted it to have.
Yeah.
You can spoil it. And honestly, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I don't think he cares.
All right. Well, I guess to preface those of you listening to this later, there will be spoilers. I'll put time codes in the description down below. But
it's also been like a month and a half. If you haven't seen it by this point, that's on you.
for sure.
Wow.
But also,
Wow.
Sorry, man.
You movie
If you want-
elitist.
I'm just
No,
gonna say,
I mean,
like,
listen, the spoiler embargo on Avengers Endgame lifted after 2 weeks. All right, it's all you.
we've been very respectful of the Star Wars spoilers, and now's our time. So
long story short, they bring Palpatine back.
Right,
Whereas if you had Palpatine set up in the previous movies at all, it would have made for a much more cohesive movie. But since they didn't, it just seemed it was the only thing in that movie that made me just like even though I enjoyed parts of it, I just was like, man, it'd be really cool if last movie, after all of the exciting stuff, it was just like, I'm back. Like,
yeah.
like
if there was a reveal of Palpatine at the end of episode 8.
like
Well,
any
that's-
inkling of it.
That's the thing, right? Is this movie? It's 2 movies in one. This
Yeah.
is not really. It's not really a trilogy. It's a. What's the one?
Quadrilogy?
No, it's
Quadrilogy.
What's the one where there's 2 movies? What do they call that?
A sequel?
Double feature.
Double feature.
Whatever you
Yeah,
fucking
well,
call
we'll
that.
go with double feature. Fuck it.
Yeah,
we're not
it's-
smart.
It's not a trilogy because episode 9 is 2 movies in one. Because the big wigs at Disney who didn't think to plan out the fucking trilogy were like, oh shit, we have to like figure out how to wrap all this shit up immediately in the first 45 minutes. That's what the first 45 minutes of the movie is. It's a mad 100-meter sprint to try and like get everyone up to speed as to what happened. And then the last 2 hours is, whatever. But,
Everything else.
yeah.
The other 10% of the the information in the movie was the last 2 hours.
Like, I feel like they don't struggle with their like spectacles. Like, it's definitely one of the coolest Star Wars movies I've watched. Like, there's so many set pieces that are just awesome. The Sith home planet is fucking phenomenal. Everything visually about the movie is great. It's just it seems like, I hate to compare it to Marvel, but you have to these days. But like, you have all of these characters, right? And you have so many tools to utilize these characters and to do cool things with them. But instead, they just gave them to a bunch of people and said, do whatever you want, which is, it's a blessing and a curse, right? Like when they gave what's his bucket for Thor, they gave the director I'm talking about, Taika Waititi. When they gave Thor to him, and they were basically just like, just do whatever you want with him. He just needs to end up here. And then the best Thor movie came out of it, right? But the difference is they had Kevin Feige going, yeah, but you have to end up here because we need to set up Infinity War. So, like, at no point in the Star Wars movies was there someone that said, do whatever you want and have your artsy Last Jedi film, but it needs to end up here with these characters being players. Because you're not going to have the third movie, Rian Johnson.
Yeah,
And while he,
Finn,
but yeah, go on.
The setup for Finn in episode 8, he pretty much ended as a character that everyone's just going, well, I expected something really cool,
Right.
and there was no delivery whatsoever. Like, yeah, he goes to sacrifice himself to make it so that they can't break down the door on the last planet that they're on.
Yeah.
But then episode 9, he goes onto the ship and blows something up, and that's pretty much the extent of Finn's cool action bits.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like when they first started teasing episode 7, the main character was supposed to be Finn.
Yeah.
And Rey was supposed to be a side character that also shines throughout the movie. It's like the Obi and Anakin
Yeah.
Right.
of the new trilogy. And they just totally shit all over him.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's the, like, I know we're probably gonna get slack for this, but I'd say Papa and I are both, I would say, more fans of Last Jedi than we are against it. But it's mostly
I
just
really enjoyed it.
It's because it didn't do the exact same things that, say, the previous movie did. The Force Awakens is basically a New Hope 3.0. Like,
Yeah.
whereas The Last Jedi continually just does exactly opposite of what you think it's going to do at every turn, which is why people don't like it. Is Luke wasn't this almighty god that they wanted to see fucking throw a Star Destroyer with one hand and fucking kill Snoke with the other hand without not even looking at him. He was flawed and, you know, did what he always did and just threw a tantrum because most people don't also remember the original trilogy where he's just a brat the entire fucking time.
Yeah, he is whiny. That's just how all the Skywalkers are.
Literally every Skywalker has had the same problem of just being a little bitch. So like they continually struggle with that, and then they set up this movie and like they did a good job of not making the characters little bitches, which was very different in Force Awakens. And then they just fumbled with them a little bit and tried to offer all these like problems that they couldn't overcome. And then they were just like, "Hey JJ, we need you to fix the Star Wars." And he was like, "All right, I'm good at like big set pieces, and you know, I'm good at doing this, like maybe introducing a cool villain." And he did a great job and all that, but in terms of the story, they handed him a tangled web and said, "Make it great." And I don't know if he was the person. Based off of the Justin Trevorrow script leaks that may or may not be true. And it's always greener on the other side of the fence, but like it seems like that had a better indication and worked better with the Last Jedi. And instead of, somebody freaking out saying it's too much like it, they should have just been like, "All right, Rian Johnson did this. We need to own it and move." Like, and if they'd done that, I feel like it would have been a better movie.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like JJ did the best with what was given. Because let's be real, Last Jedi was definitely not the best of the Star Wars movies. It wasn't Phantom Menace, so it has that going for it at least.
Or Clone Wars.
Yeah, or Clone Wars. I mean, there was some cool stuff in Clone Wars, but it really just wasn't, or Attack of the Clones, I should say. It really just wasn't the strongest movie either. Like the prequel trilogy really kicks off at the third one, Revenge of the Sith. Like
Revenge of the Sith is definitely the best of the prequels.
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith is one of my top Star Wars movies. Like,
I would say it's up there as one of the better Star Wars movies. Like, even original trilogy included, like it surpasses a lot of.
What's your top Star Wars movie?
Empire.
Same. Yeah.
Empire. Empire and then Revenge.
Yeah, yep.
And then Force Awakens, because it's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, mine would be very similar. It'd be Empire, Revenge, and then Force Awakens, and then Rogue One.
Oh, Rogue One, dude.
Phenomenal movie.
Where, like, I don't know. I feel like also a lot of people go with very like distorted goggles to all of their old Star Wars movies because freaking Return of the Jedi is a really flawed movie. It is not. I feel like they've always struggled. George Lucas hit the stride where the third movie was the best movie of the prequels, but the original trilogy, it is by far the weakest film of the original trilogy.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Which actually leads me to ask you guys, which of you played the Jedi Fallen Order?
I played it. I'm not done.
You're not done with it yet, dude?
No,
what?
I got sidetracked from.
Okay, we won't talk about spoiler stuff in it.
Okay.
Wait,
I know you played it.
The ban has been lifted.
Yeah, the new one.
That is true.
I have to pick that one up still.
It's been out over a month. We can talk about it, bro.
That's been out over 3 months, bro.
Cinematography rules, game rules.
It's not game rules. That's not how it works.
I think games have to be extended out a little bit further because
3 months.
Some people play at a slower rate.
yeah, well, I mean,
It was at the same time
about
too.
it. You think about it, people play like multiple games at the same time. So like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not that way. The only game that I'm playing right now definitively is Escape from Tarkov, but
Which we will talk about that in here as well. Like, let's not lie. Like, that's gonna come up.
but yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of people out there that'll play like, one game one night and then, say they want like their PvP experience one night and then they want their, they're just chill nights. So I feel like the 1 month thing has to be extended for or games at least.
Well, and especially with streamers like a lot of us too. Like Squid, I know you're pretty much just playing Tarkov right now, but Ricky, myself, and Atlas, when he's streaming,
That's me.
we all bounce from game to game to
all
just
the time.
keep things fresh. So I get that some people may not have beaten it, but Ricky, it's phenomenal. You need to go finish it today.
I am going to finish it. This project made my game time very slim this week.
Yeah, no, I get
but I definitely do plan on going back and finishing it. But I guess then with that, we should probably start talking about Tarkov.
Well,
I want to talk about
quick. I do just want to hear from Totes and Atlas. What did you guys think of Jedi Fallen Order?
I'll let Atlas go first.
Oh, you're so sweet. Overall, man, I enjoyed it. I'm really not into those like Dark Soul-esque games. They're not my forte in general, to be honest. I like watching.
This definitely was. Like,
right.
It had a lot of Dark Souls elements to it.
Yeah, it was, and especially the last two-ish fights that really brought out those elements, I felt like. And I didn't do great with that. I admit I did not beat it on what I would normally have beaten a game on. I beat it basically like easy or whatever the fuck it was. Not like the easiest, but next.
But the step up from that. Yeah.
So, which was kind of a kick in the balls into my pride. But anyway, the story overall was phenomenal. I enjoyed that. I really liked the planets that you get to visit. Dathomir was probably one of my favorite planets.
It's cool.
It was tight. And the fact that that was like my actually first choice. As soon as I got a couple choices, Dathomir was the first place I went, and it continued to be the place I wanted to keep going back to.
Well, and you had to keep going back to Dathomir too, didn't you? Because there were certain spots that your abilities wouldn't allow you to carry past a point.
Right.
So you had to circle back to Dathomir after going to other planets.
Right. And that's kind of the cool thing. I think it progressed well. I think the game had great progression. It gave you the abilities in the correct order to extend out the game and make it feel like you're learning something and you have a learning curve. And I think that's awesome. And I like the lore and the story that went into it. And of course, the Star Wars universe is big enough for us to talk about the entire time we have. But I really...
And for the next couple of podcasts.
Right. Yeah, for sure. But overall, man, I would say on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the worst and 10 being the best, I would give it overall like a 7.5, just because of a few things that I didn't necessarily like, and the style of game just isn't for me necessarily in general.
Yeah, that makes sense. Totes, what about you?
If we're doing the 1 to 10 scale, I think I would give it like a 9. I am, as you all probably have figured out, a fucking massive Star Wars fan. Like I if you can see, you can't see it, but my bookshelf back here is like all Star Wars books, all EU Star Wars books. I've read them all twice, and it was to me it was the best fucking Star Wars game ever made. I mean, other than maybe Knights of the Old Republic. I don't particularly like the Souls style games either. But put that with Star Wars, I'm fucking sold, dude. Like it's lightsaber combat is perfect for that style of game, and you throw in the force powers and everything, and the combat system was extremely rewarding, and I was super pissed that I only figured it out on my second playthrough. Like I couldn't quite nail it the first time I played through it, and then I started playing through it again. Right, yeah.
Intuitive either. Like, you kind of get the grasp of it towards the end, and then you're like, oh shit.
It could be way more forgiving than what it is. Yeah. It is so it's like they tell you, oh, press L1 to parry one time. Yeah. Like that's all you get is just one fucking time to one tutorial for that. And also you have like a window that's like this big to parry correctly, and if you miss it, you're fucked. Yeah, it's over. But to me it was one of the greatest gaming experiences I've ever had. I played through it with my wife, and I love that they're finally taking Star Wars outside of like the Skywalker saga
Yeah.
Which I'm fucking tired of those people, man. Like, let's just get away from that for a while.
Yeah.
Let's fill in the universe with some other shit.
Yeah, because there is a ton of extended universe.
Yeah.
And another thing, which this could be a whole topic in and of itself, but for years and years and years and years, EA has been saying all single player gaming's dead. We don't care about single player gaming. And then they gave Star Wars to a company that would treat it right. And it's like one of the best selling Star Wars games ever fucking made.
Because it was the same studio they gave it to that did the Titanfall games, right?
Yeah. Respawn. Yeah.
Respawn. Yeah, okay.
So I'm hoping that this was EA, or this was Respawn grabbing EA by the scruff and being like, people want this. Like, I hope they keep making them, man. I really do.
I genuinely believe that that Star Wars, like Disney itself, reached out to him after the Battlefront fiasco and was like, you need to make a game that doesn't have microtransactions. You have to make one, or we're going to not sell you the property regardless of money next time, because you have given us 2 video games and some mobile games since we sold you the rights, and one of them broke the law basically. So you need to figure it out. And EA was like, Respawn, you just did a good with Titanfall 2 and now Apex Legends. We'll allow you to not put those microtransactions and fog up an otherwise good game, because let's be honest, there's also a future where they riddled that single player game with every microtransaction from here to Earth. You wouldn't have gotten any lightsaber progression. You'd have had to buy it. You want a different colored lightsaber? $5.99. You want to change your top, your freaking tarp? That's $18.99, boy. But instead, they got to make an actual game. And like, for one I've played, and I feel like I'm like about 2/3 through it. I'm definitely not like, my toe's not just in it. I'm definitely fairly into it. It felt good.
I don't have any problem paying for downloadable content if we get a full game when it launches. If the game is good, like this game was, I don't care about paying for extra content for it.
Right. Because it was a full-length game, too.
Yeah,
it takes a while to beat it. It's not you go in and you're done in 2 hours.
There's none of this like, oh, there's extra content, but it's hidden on the disc shit. Remember when they were doing that?
Yep.
That doesn't happen anymore. So like, if they ever came out with DLC for it, I would 100% pay for it. But I think they're making a sequel right now. So
I feel like DLC is like, proper DLC is fine. It's selling a bunch of cosmetics in game that used to be stuff you got for just being like playing the game, like little trinkets as you go, and that's why it's such a good game, right? It's constantly rewarding you with new abilities and new cosmetics as you progress through the game. Yeah. Therefore, it's a good game, and people are just not used to that anymore because every other game has split off that part into its own business, and they give you the ugliest looking things as you go to tempt you to go, oh, well, that cool armor set over on the shop, that's $20, but I would look really cool while I play this game.
Destiny.
Don't even fucking get me started.
Oh God.
We'll save that for another cast.
Yeah, let's talk about that next week.
So real quick, just before we do change to another subject here, I do have to know, what difficulty did you guys play through Fallen Order?
Just normal for me.
Okay.
I played through normal all the way up until the last fight, and then I had to drop it down.
Gotcha.
I'm still on Master. I'm not on the hardest. But I
think Master is the hardest, isn't it? And then
it's Grandmaster.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm on Master. It's tough. But I've played a lot of Soulsborne games, so I like that. I like it to be more difficult and to beat me in the pussy, so to speak.
I don't even know how some of those boss battles are fucking possible on that difficulty.
Yeah, it is perfect timing.
Pretty much.
Like impeccable timing. I spent an hour fighting the second to last boss, just going at it time and time again, and had to drop the difficulty from Master to Knight. And that was the only way I beat it.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That being said, though, so Squid.
What's up?
Tarkov, huh?
Dude, Tarkov is probably one of the best games on the market right now.
Easily.
even though it's in early access still.
Yeah, well, and has been for what, 3 years now?
Yeah, 4. I think it came out in 2016.
I think in
But
terms of early
it's-
access games, it's super polished. Like
Yeah,
Oh,
at this point,
absolutely.
and it's just going to get more and more polished as they go too.
Right. And you know, I've invested into the game significantly.
Same.
You know, I purchased the base package back at release a few years back, and about a month ago, I went to the EOD edition, which is like another $100.
Yeah, I got
But
$50 for the game at that point.
yeah, but honestly, I think it's probably one of the best games on the market at this point.
Because it's got the difficulty in shooter style, like Rainbow Six Siege does, where you look the wrong angle and you are going to die.
Yeah.
Like, there is no redemption to it whatsoever. It doesn't matter what class armor you have. If you peek the wrong way and someone happens to be standing there, you're done.
Yep.
It is very grueling, and if you really hate yourself, it is definitely the game for you, which is why I've been playing it too.
Oh shit! I got to look into this now.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
Totes is like, hold on, let me get my credit card.
I'm buying it right now.
So to me, the hesitation that I have with it is it just looking at it, because obviously I've not played it, but I've watched a little bit of you guys play
Yeah.
here and there, and it reminds me so much of Division 1 Dark Zone that I have PTSD fucking flashbacks, and I lost so much goddamn time to that game that for like little to no fucking reward, that I'm like burnt on it. And it reminds me of like that. It's that go in, you have this, try and work as a team,
Get as much
shit
gear
as you can, throw it on the rope, get the fuck out of there, boy. You did a good job. And that's cool, man, and I'm good with that. But I feel like there's so many like griefers and like the whole I don't know, man. It doesn't do it for me.
I don't feel like there's a lot of griefers in the game because it is very
good.
hard to get into the same lobbies as people. It's more so you come across more stream snipers than anything, which luckily I haven't had to come across. I know Ricky did.
Yep.
And we all lost a bunch of our loot from it.
That person's a bitch.
Yeah, they came into our chat. They're like,
giant bitch.
outplayed.
Yeah.
No, it was like, no, you didn't outplay us. You hid behind a wall for 20 minutes and waited until we started to move that way. Like,
Yeah,
you didn't outplay us. The thing with Tarkov that I think makes it rough is the game does not have a tutorial. It does not hold your hand in any way, shape, or form. So you are essentially loading into the game and you get the option of a scav run, which is like not geared player.
Randomized loadout.
Random shit. And your goal is to get as much loot from the area, kill as many things, try and get their loot as possible, and then extract. And whatever you extract with from that loot is yours for your actual player character. You can then equip all that stuff on your player character, and you can go in and try and fuck up other players. You can try and get scav kills and steal the loot that they have.
Yeah.
But like even just a healing system, like most games, the healing system, like you heal over time, or you have to do like a med pack or like bandages or something like that. No, in this, there's like 8 different healing methods, and all of them will do certain things. And like one of them, like the CMS kit doesn't stop bleeding.
Right, the CMS kit doesn't stop bleeding,
but it'll fix blacked out limbs.
Yeah.
But then you take a car kit in and it'll stop bleeding and it'll heal you, but it won't fix your blacked out limbs. And if your limbs are blacked out, they're worthless. Like you're then hobbling, or if your arms are blacked out, you can't aim your gun as well.
Seems like a super fucking racist game.
You're a super racist game.
I think my favorite part about the game is it's not all PvP and it's not all PvE. Like
that's fun.
Yeah, you can go into no risk, no reward raids on your main character, um, to practice or use new guns,
Mhm.
um, and get the feel for them. But anything that you kill in that raid, all the XP there, you don't gain it. Um,
It's just like
and
a practice zone.
exactly. And then I think it's a great design as far as like you have NPCs walking around that can kill you. You have players running around that will kill you.
Mhm.
Right.
And then you have players that look like the NPCs.
Which are the scav players.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
which are the
That's
scav players, and
yeah.
that is constantly creating a sense of panic
Yeah.
for you.
Well, and one of the crazy things too is the AI. It's not just the same AI the entire time. Like the scavs are typically kind of dumb. They will get aggressive towards you, but only if you start moving in on them or you're taking shots at them.
Yeah.
Then there's raiders, which are very high geared NPCs that are hyper aggressive,
Mhm.
and they take a lot of shots to take down, and they are extremely accurate. If you come across a raider and you don't have like the best of gear, chances are you're going to lose that fight.
Yeah. Something I've been thinking about while we're talking about this is Tarkov is like, because a lot of people instantly compare it to battle royales, and I would even say, yeah, definitely Dark Zone from Division and Division
Yeah.
2. I would actually say it's even more of a sandbox game at the same time, in the sense that like it rewards you for doing survival light behaviors like eating and drinking. There's rewards for doing those types of things in raids.
Mm-hmm.
You can have raids where you don't even see an NPC the entire match. And the power in this game isn't just to the people who know how to shoot. You know, like you play Siege, the people who know how to shoot really well and know how to hold angles really well, they're gonna win, right? You play a
Every
battle
time.
royale, the
Yeah.
people who are good, like you play Apex, the people who've been playing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours of that game are gonna beat you in a fight because they know how to control the guns, they know what guns to use, etc. In Tarkov, it's like 90% knowledge about the game, knowing what medical kits you need to bring for what resource, like Papa was saying, and knowing where you should be going, right? Like you're gonna have quests. It's more of an MMO when you're in the menus, right? Like you have different tasks that you're supposed to go do, like go kill X amount of AI on this place, or go find this hidden objective on this place. And 9 times out of 10, it gives you a very brief descriptor, and there's a lot of tutorials you can find online, but like it'll give you an idea of where you need to go, and then you go and explore it and do it, and then you get that rush of trying to complete a task while also having the risk of losing this loot, and then you get into this cool fight that you maybe win, and it rewards you in a way that I feel like a game hasn't yet. Because like even Dark Zone, you still kept your initial equipment you brought in, right? Like you brought in your guns, it was the stuff that you attached to yourself that you would lose, the loot you found in there. So there was still like you still got out with something. You didn't lose everything.
Right.
And since you can lose everything, it makes you think a bit more constructively. Do I want to go cheap because I don't want to spend 150k rubles on this run? Or do I want to go super fucking expensive and guarantee that I have, I guarantee that I can get out more likely, right? If I bring in this super expensive armor, I'm way more likely to survive this raid. And knowing what you should be bringing is so much fun. And
because even stuff like ammo types make a difference in there too.
Ammo is better than the gun in this game. If you don't know your ammo,
you have to know your ammo.
There's like 4 ammo types that are all garbage, right? There's like, I think it's like the 22 caliber, and then the whatever the Taz uses that are basically all trash. But even a shotgun, like freaking Squid and I the other day were going in with shotguns and landing consistent kills with shotguns.
really?
Yeah,
That's
like
100 plus meters too.
We were taking slugs in and actually getting kills, and it was feeling great. Like, it rewards you for searching that up, right? Like, it doesn't give you your hand and say, here's the round to buy, ignore all the other trash. It goes, here's all the rounds. They're different prices. If you want to go on some cheap rounds, save yourself some money, go for it. But God forbid you run into a class 6 armored player. You're going to shoot him, and he's just going to laugh.
He's gonna get tickled and then just turn and one tap you because you're trash.
Another thing that I really like about it is you know, it doesn't necessarily reward players for being there or for playing longer.
Yeah.
Nothing's level locked, except for the um, like the flea market itself. They make you get to level 5 before you can access the flea market.
Which is all just the trading between other characters.
Yeah, trading between players. But
The auction
nothing's
house,
level
if you will.
locked. Yeah, the auction house.
Yeah.
Nothing's level locked. Like once you get to level 5, you can go in and kit your, you can go in and buy an M4 and kit your weapon out to like probably $300,000 or 300,000 rubles. You can basically kit a weapon. So nothing's level locked,
Which
which
buy
is
a tank
great.
for $300,000. I mean,
Yeah.
small one.
Yeah, well, yeah, but
legit.
300,000 rubles is like $30.
But not in this game though. Because we are in Russia for all of Tarkov. So we are home in the motherland and we're getting shit on constantly by better players. Or more geared players, or people that have really horrible connections.
I've actually found this is one of the few games that I feel like so far to me, it maybe somebody else has had a different experience, but I feel like the laggy players have a disadvantage in this game for once. Like maybe it's just me, but like any player I've ran into that's been lagging consistently, I've been able to win. And in like PUBG and Apex, like it's almost like they have an advantage, right? Like because you can't shoot them.
Yeah.
But for some reason they can shoot you. But in this game, it's like, no, you're lagging, bro. You need to get some better internet.
Yeah, fix your connection. Yeah, I like that too. It doesn't. It favors the shooter essentially in that situation.
Yeah.
Where, like if your connection is trash, you're gonna get fucking shit on, and I like it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of lame because the servers are so shitty right now that like you have to set your servers for all across the US or wherever it is that you are. Yeah. And sometimes you'll get put into lobbies that you're going to have 200 plus ping almost the entire time. And you just can't do anything about it.
Yeah.
Right. But they've announced that they're working on that and they've got a solution already planned out. They're just working on the logistics and moving the servers over.
Yeah.
It's just shitty for the time being.
Yeah.
Right.
But I am curious. What games is everyone excited for this year? What's coming out that you're looking forward to?
I think we're all excited for Cyberpunk. I'll be honest.
Oh shit! I fucking forgot about that.
Yeah, well, they pushed it back, thankfully. So.
Oh yeah, you're right. They did.
It's not what, September.
Is it September?
Yeah, it's August or September. I can't remember.
Yeah, somewhere in the latter portion of the year. But I'm pretty stoked on that. That's been my drive to upgrade my PC here and there, is to really be able to run that and whatnot. So a new video card in the future for sure. So, but in reality, man, I know that. So I really haven't been keeping up with a lot of the games that are coming out other than that one because nothing really has been piquing my interest. So I've been really going back to games that I maybe had alphas for, like Northgard and whatnot. Playing that back through because they keep adding stuff to it. So I've been really enjoying that, but also to be fully honest, I know we talked about Siege for a second, like in comparing to Tarkov, I'm kind of excited for some of these new operators through Siege. Try them out. That Cali,
one I need to hop back into.
Dude, I'm ready for it.
I'm pumped. I'm so excited.
Get destroyed for a couple of hours. And then even more.
Yeah.
With this group, that's some of the most fun I've ever had was playing Siege. So I'm looking forward to getting back to that.
Well, I'm like, seriously, someone always picks Doc, and then the Doc will run up to somebody and shoot him, and then go, oh yeah, here's a heal for you.
Right.
we're just a bunch of trolls. Like, we're all garbage at the game for the most part, but like we have our fun, and every now and then we may pop off. But it's definitely an excellent time. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it really is.
I'm looking forward to Last of Us Part 2. That's a big one for me.
Oh, yeah.
God, dude.
That's a big one.
I'm ready to
Yeah.
cry again. It's okay. Like
I am
it'll
ready to be
happen.
hurt again. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like what, first 10 minutes of that game?
Yeah.
I was bawling like a baby back bitch, dude. I don't give a shit. Like, oh my god, his daughter died. No.
How would they?
Never actually played
How
it.
would they kill a kid in a video
What?
game? No one's
Oh,
ever
yeah,
done
I never
that.
played it.
Well, that's been like 7 years, so that's not you, bro.
No, I don't. I already did.
Do you want to play it?
I wouldn't mind. I don't know. I've
Do
never.
you have a PlayStation 4?
Yeah, I do.
I'm gonna send you my account details. You are going to play it and play it. Because honestly, I know you're a big BioShock fan.
Yeah, I love Bioshock.
Me as well.
Yeah.
Love BioShock. It's one of my favorite game series to date.
Yeah.
Except
Same.
the second one. Fuck the second one. It was trash.
Whatever, dude.
Second was bad.
The
But
gameplay is fucking refined, though.
The Last of Us challenges BioShock for my favorite game of all time, easily.
Yeah, same with me. It's definitely up there. PlayStation's killed it, and it was the PlayStation 3 that Last of Us initially went out.
Yep.
But I would
Right.
say it was more. It felt more like a PlayStation 4 title, in how it felt, because
they
it was
remastered it for PlayStation 4. Didn't
yeah.
they?
I replayed through the whole game on PlayStation 4, and it honestly, like, that game and God of War this generation are easily my two
Yeah.
favorite video games of the last, I don't know, almost 10 years. Like, I haven't had experiences like those two in a hot minute. So it's just like I feel for people who maybe didn't get the story, but like as someone who's experienced loss, I have never seen a video game tell a story that made me feel it and feel how it impacted characters the way that Last of Us did and the way that God of War did. Those are two games that understand storytelling to a degree that I haven't felt in a long time. It like Halo was one of the best storytelling games of the old generation, right?
Right.
But like
especially Reach tore at my heartstrings
Yeah.
when I first.
it doesn't hold up as well now. Like if you go back and you play through it, you're like, oh, that Ken doll just died. That's weird. But like, you know, it's definitely like looking at that game, you feel it so much. Naughty Dog did an excellent job, and same, I think it's Santa Monica with God of War. They both did their time. Like the guys at Santa Monica, even more so, they took a series that was notoriously just about being crude and absurd, and they found a way to make it hit home in a way that shouldn't make sense, right? Like Homeboy's a god. You shouldn't feel for him, but man, like by the end of that game, you're just like, holy crap, there's so many reveals. And same goes for Last of Us.
Couple things about God of War that I really loved. Just like picking out two things that I loved out of the many things. First one, the Norse setting. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Fucking phenomenal.
Right
And-
away. Like
And it was like, and not only was it a Norse setting, but they did it right. Like they did like the gritty, the gods are not your friends.
Yeah.
Like Odin is like a bloodthirsty fucking asshole, and so are all of his kids.
Yep.
Fucking amazing. Just
Right.
fucking amazing. And also, the guy that now voices Kratos was Teal'c in Stargate.
Right.
So, you can't really get any better than that. Like,
Boy.
I don't know. I like the dude from First Wave too, but yeah, I like the Teal from Stargate.
so we're excited for Cyberpunk 2077. We're excited for The Last of Us 2. Is there any other games that you guys can think of that you're excited for?
Halo Infinite.
Yes.
oh yeah.
I
forgot
will
about that.
say I am nervous about it, but I'm excited at the same time.
I feel like off of the trailers, the fact that they're going back to the old Mark 7 armor, that 343 understands that you got to go back to the old to make way for the new. Take away some of the extra stuff, give that nostalgic gameplay, like what Doom did, right? Like Doom went back to its
Doom did a great
roots.
job.
It moved away from this horror game that it was, because it was really just a silly action shooter, and that's how people treated it. And they went with fast movement. And I think that they need to move more in the direction of just recapturing even like the Halo 2, Halo 3 era combat, right? And just speed it up a tad to balance it. Like, you don't need sprint, you don't need aim down sights to make the game feel good. Just balance the sandbox.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you just need to balance the sandbox, make the guns all feel equal in footing. Like that's one of the things that Reach suffers with, right? Like if DMRs are just a struggle in general because they can take out a fucking warthog after like 15 shots. So it's like there's nothing that can compete with that. Whereas like in like Halo 3, right? There's a balance to things, and every weapon had a place, so to speak. And same goes for Halo 2. I feel like a lot of people look at that game with some tinted glasses, though. Nothing was perfect in Halo 2, but it was definitely a good time. And same for 3. They both had their pros and cons, but after that, like they've just struggled to make it a modern shooter when they should have just gone, oh, it's an arcade shooter. Let's just make more arcade and focus in on that.
I feel like it was really pulling back to the time frame of the 90s. Like the multiplayer, especially in the remake of Doom, was completely Quake feel.
Yes.
100% Quake Arena, Quake 3, like that was the time period it was going back to, and it felt exactly like that.
Yeah.
And it was that is nostalgic. I don't think that they did a great job with the character creation and customization. They tried to do like a Halo-esque type thing, and it didn't work for it.
Yeah.
But I do think that the multiplayer of that honestly was probably what I would want out of it. I don't know if I would switch anything up, just because I think that it brought back that time frame and that feeling from that time frame without trying to be another game.
Yeah.
Like,
Just out of curiosity, are any of you guys excited for Dying Light 2?
Didn't it just get canned?
Didn't it get canned? Yeah,
Did it get canned?
Yeah, it got
It got
canceled.
canceled. Yeah.
No fucking way.
What?
I'm sad now.
Yeah, it did.
I shit you not.
Yep, I saw it the other day as well.
Damn.
I actually uninstalled Dying Light because of it. I was like, you know what? I was gonna play back through, but fuck you.
Yep. They canceled. I was actually more excited for the Dead Island sequel because it looked like a first-person Dead Rising with like co-op mechanics, and that just sounded like a ton of fun to me.
Yeah.
And then they canceled that, and I was like, all right, well, they have Dying Light, and that's a little similar, and with just some parkour. And then they canceled that, and I'm like, all right, I have no faith in the studio, or if it even exists.
Well,
Are we sure that they canceled it? All I'm seeing is that they pushed it back because it was supposed to be released in the spring.
I saw that it was on an indefinite hold.
Yeah.
Ooh, yikes. Okay.
Half-Life Alyx is coming out in March too.
Isn't that an all VR experience though, or is it not?
Yeah,
I think it's all VR.
Is it all VR?
I
It's-
believe so.
built exclusively for. I bet you probably could rig it up to play it, but
Yeah.
it definitely
that's
makes me excited for the VR tool, because like if anybody could try and
Right.
get that to push units and adoption, it's Valve. But
Right. Well, that's kind of my goal is maybe this year invest in a VR system of some sort, because I want to participate in some of those horror games, because horror games are just magnifique with VR. But
oh yeah,
I also want to engage in like Beat Saber and stuff. I know that's
Yes.
like kind of silly, but fucking Beat Saber is one of the most fun games that I've ever played, honestly. And because it involves you so much, and I think it's just a good fucking time. I think it would be cool just to stream that.
Yeah, my next I was just piecing together a PC yesterday, and my next one is definitely going to be VR ready for
Oh, hell
sure. Like it's not even a question.
yeah.
Same. Yeah. That's the goal, man. New PCs.
I definitely feel like VR is the future, but like they need more of those big. They need big investments, and no game
Agreed.
franchise no game company these days is willing to make any amount of investments, because they need to make all of the money, not just some of the money. And that's why the VR hasn't exploded the way it probably should have at this point, because no one wants to take the risk and only sell to 100,000 early adopters, right?
Right.
They want to sell to 100 million people, and then potentially 10,000 whales to give them another, 100K. Like that's all AAA cares about these
Right.
days.
Yeah.
So
10,000 Juales. Juales.
what else was it? There's one more game. I'm gonna try and think of it.
I personally, while Ricky's thinking of this, I don't know if it's going to come out this year, but Breath of the Wild 2.
Ooh,
I'm pumped. Like I was I've been hoping for a full-scale remake from the ground up of Ocarina of Time for like 20 years, basically.
Yeah.
Same.
But I'm happy with this direct sequel to Breath of the Wild. That was an amazing fucking game. I'm just curious how they're going to change the formula up.
You're okay for my my hot take?
Mm-hmm.
Like I know we're running out of time. Breath of the Wild is fundamentally flawed. It gives you a very cool sandbox and constantly limits you from enjoying the sandbox.
How so?
Rain causing you to be unable to traverse land without. I'm not very far in the game because it constantly pisses me off. The rain constantly causing you to be unable to traverse, and on top of that, weapon durability being so paltry that you can't enjoy combat in the early stages of the game to an extent that you avoid combat. So therefore, you're avoiding playing the game because weapons don't have any durability. Like, who are the who are the blacksmiths in Hyrule? Because apparently they make everything out of goddamn paper mache. Like,
to that point. To that point. To be fair, it's been like how long it had been? Like 100 years? I mean,
yes.
I
mean, all I can say is that game could have dealt with giving an additional 100% durability, and it would have made that game a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But
and like, Breath of the Wild was like the great experiment, right? It was so clearly like, let's do something radically different than we've ever done with Zelda before. And
they definitely did that.
I think they pulled it off pretty well. Weapon durability is one of my gripes too, to be honest. It's not even when you get the fucking Master Sword and you power it up completely, if you use it too much, it puts you on like a 10-minute limit. And you can't use it for 10 minutes. It's so stupid.
It just seems so weird because like they have this cool mechanic where enemies all come back and stuff and like tries to reward you for doing combat. And it's a very fun, engaging combat system, right? Like it like if you don't know what you're doing sometimes it'll mess you up. But like there's nothing more frustrating than bringing in, 4 or 5 ancient swords that are supposed to be like the best weapons and then them just breaking after 2 enemies. Like, all right, fun. Now I'm fighting this boss with a level 5 stick. Great. Good thing I know how to cook in the game, which is a fun mechanic of the game. But you have to avoid so much of the rest of the game to do anything fun in that game, and that's why it consistently just frustrates me. And I get why people like it. It tried so many new things, but like it's those little things that if they just upped that one thing a little bit, I feel like the game would have been not only a perfect 10, but it would have blown everything else out. And the Master Sword should not be on any cooldown. If you get to the Master Sword, you should be able to have any combat you want. You're the fucking chosen one. You've worked up to that. You've dealt with a shitty durability system. You're done. You can retire now.
Goddamn Neo.
Dude, like that was when I found out that they limit you with the fucking Master Sword. I was like, so I said this out loud, like almost verbatim. I was like, so you're telling me that this is the sword that it's the bane of all evil. It's like the most powerful blade ever forged, blessed by the goddesses. And you're telling me that if I cut too many goblins with it, I can't fucking use it for 10 minutes? What fucking world are we living in?
The sword.
Who thought of this?
The sword is tired. Please leave it on the mantle for a minute.
Right.
So we do have to start getting ready for D&D. Talking about swords just reminded me of that. So the last couple of minutes of this, we are typically going to be taking some time to answer any questions that are sent to us on Twitter or DM'd to any of us in Discord. I will say, chat, if you guys have any questions, now's the time that we will acknowledge any questions that may be in chat. And we've got just a couple of minutes that we can answer anything if you guys do have any questions.
Also, really quick, guys, thank you for all the follows. We very much appreciate it. This has been a lot of work for a lot of us today. I would say, I mean, I've been sitting with Jackal, Lynn, Funny, all morning, like, as well as Toads. Papa popped in. Like, we've all been trying to figure this stuff out and make sure it's all working. We still ran into some technical issues because, of course, but like it's definitely been a lot of work, and I just wanted to thank everybody who's helped out with that because this project's a lot of fun. Like,
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. Cat, I'm glad you like it, dude.
when is the
And thank you
holiday
for coming out, too.
calendar going to be available? Totes, do you have an answer?
Actually, yeah, we can do
The
that.
holiday calendar?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know, the one where you got naked and you did
Yeah.
various poses with various
Oh right,
candies.
I painted. I had M painted on both my butt cheeks, so when I bend over, it says "mom."
Yeah.
Mom. Yeah. You flip upside down and it spells out "wow."
Isn't that in May for Mother's Day?
Yeah, that's cool. Dumbass. But for real though, we can get a calendar going. That would be what's up.
I would say if we're gonna do that, it's got to be way down the line.
It's gotta be a calendar of us just doing some stupid shit though.
Yeah.
We should. Well, if we all manage to like see each other this year, we should like hire a photographer.
What do you fucking mean manage to? You're going to be here.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
so.
You're gonna be here.
What do you mean you hope so?
I mean, I hope I have the time off.
Hold on 1 second. Let me start a GoFundMe for Totes.
Yeah, do it, please, please, God.
Go to
do. No.
GoFundMe.
If you miss this, I will headbutt you when we meet.
.com
Literally,
slash
you told me how
boats
much you
for
make in a year.
totes.
Don't send him a fucking GoFundMe.
Send me the GoFundMe. Do it.
We need $140 for an Uber for totes.
Chat, any last minute questions before we close out?
I got through 3 beers. I feel good. That's what I've.
Nice.
I'm fucking drunk.
I'm not. You think 3 beers is gonna do that to me? Fuck.
No, I was calling you a drug.
Oh well, yeah. Yeah, that's fair.
I've drank
Alright.
some of this high quality H2O.
It was fun though.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have suggestions or anything. I would say throw it towards our Twitter as well, or just let us know in Discord as well. I feel like that's a good thing.
And all of that stuff is linked just down below.
Yeah.
If you are trying to follow it or join into anything. But with that being said,
Really
oh,
quick
yeah, go
before you
ahead.
do, just to answer a couple of, I would say, things that I might see eventually being questions. The whole point of renaming it to the Clueless Capybaras was because we've built this cool community with all of these different streamers. So if you are someone who maybe is on the outside, like, why didn't you guys tell us anything about this? It's because we wanted to get it up and running for you. But if anybody wants to be a part or wants to show up on the podcast or anything, let us know. Like, we definitely want to not, like, it isn't just going to be us jerking our dicks off. We'd like to hang out with more people. I mean, we still do that, but like, we want to hang out with more people when we do this show, and it is going to be something we do weekly, every Saturday at 3:30 for the podcast.
Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up there. You can find Totes with his shoulder hair fetish. But we will be back in what, 15 minutes? Give or take a little bit on that for D&D.
Yeah, I would say probably 20 minutes. We'll aim for 5:45.
Okay.
We are going to shut the stream down. We're going to be using it to be able to like upload this to different places. So definitely go get a drink, take a break, go take a dump. We'll be back shortly, and we'll make some characters.
It's been fun.